Chapter 675, The Wrath of Cyborg Lincoln. Part 1, Scion vs Evil Uchiha. ******. It starts with us watching TV in the living room. Nico, guys, I can't thank you enough for helping me get over my grief. Me, no sweat buddy. That's what friends do. Nico, I'm glad to have awesome friends like all of you guys. Vince, we are two man. Carol, it's great that you're better. Nico, thanks Carol. Me, would a fight in the simulator get you back in the game? Nico, I would like that JD. Me, let's go then. We went to the simulator. *****. In the simulator control room, Nico was getting ready. Me, we're gonna have you face an evil Sasuke. Nico, we haven't done one of those in a while. Me, no we haven't. Are you ready? Nico, I'm ready. Me, good luck man. Nico, thanks. Nico went in and the simulator activated. Nico found himself in the shinobi world. Nico saw it was flying over the land of iron and he saw the fight with Danzo and Sasuke Uchiha. Toby is helping him. Nico, this is gonna be awesome. Showtime. Nico went Super Saiyan 4 and he fired an energy blast at both Danzo and Toby and killed them both instantly before they even got a chance to react. Nico, Danzo Shimura and Obito Uchiha, you both have failed this world. Nico landed and Sasuke saw him. Sasuke, who the hell are you? Nico, my name is Nicholas Chan. But everyone calls me Nico. And I am your worst nightmare. Nico dashed and kneed Sasuke in the face with devastating force and he grabbed him and spun him around really fast and threw him into the mountain wall. Crash. Sasuke was buried under a bunch of huge boulders. He then exploded out of the rubble and he was extremely enraged. Nico, Sasuke Uchiha, I will never forgive you for everything you've done to the Leaf and the 5 great nations. Especially to Naruto's family. You will pay for everything your family has done to this world. Sasuke, what my family has done? Don't you mean what the Leaf has done to my family? Nico, no. You are nothing but a pure evil monster and you care about no one other than yourself. Now I'm going to make sure that there are no more Uchiha in this world, period. Sasuke was enraged when he heard that. His Mangekyo Sharingan appeared. Sasuke, you have some nerve. We are the elite. We are the strongest in the world and we have more power than anything. The best there is. Nico, you are no elite Sasuke. You are just a stupid spoiled brat and a pathetic low-grade amateur and the Uchiha are nothing but a bunch of censored up evil demons and monsters. Nothing but a bunch of power-hungry thieves, murderers, and traitors. But when Sasuke heard that, he went absolutely insane. He exploded in a massive explosion of rage and ballistic fury and Sasuke charged at him. Nico smirked and Sasuke punched at him and Nico dodged it and Sasuke tried to slash him with his sword. But Nico chopped it and broke the blade into 1,000 pieces. Sasuke was completely stunned. And when that feeling of being stunned lifted, it was replaced with a massive explosion of extreme rage and insane fury. Sasuke charged at him and Nico punched him in the face and fired a blast of purple lightning at him using X.A.N.A.'s powers and Nico fired a blast of energy and they hit him and exploded. Kaboom! It sent him flying and Nico dashed with incredible speed and kicked him in the back and flew into the air. He sprouted vulture's wings and fired feather missiles. They hit Sasuke and exploded with incredible power. Kaboom! Sasuke fell from the explosion and he flipped and landed on the bridge. Sasuke, echoing, fire style, fireball. Nico fired a powerful blast of fire from his hands using Firefly's powers and the blasts of fire collided and exploded. Kraboom! Nico landed and punched the bridge with devastating force using Bane's superhuman strength and it exploded into a massive pile of dust and Sasuke fell and Nico fired a powerful blast of ice using Vexen's powers of ice and the ice turned into snowflake shuriken and they slashed Sasuke in his face and stomach. Sasuke looked up and he saw that Nico had vanished. Sasuke, Where did he go? Nico appeared out of the water using the powers of the Queen of the Black Puddle and threw a jellyfish and it hit Sasuke and electrocuted him with 20 billion volts of electricity and he screamed in pain. Nico then sprouted Whiplash's tail and slammed it into him and crashed him into the cliff. Crash. Sasuke coughed and in Nico's place was Sakura Harano. Sasuke, Sakura? What are you doing here? Sakura, please marry me Sasuke. I love you. Sasuke walked up to her and then Sakura turned her arm into a powerful tentacle and slammed it into Sasuke's face and sent him skidding across the water and he crashed into another cliff. Sakura turned into Nico. Nico, I didn't know I had Madame Rouge's shape-shifting powers. That was awesome. Sasuke got up and he saw Nico and he was extremely pissed. Sasuke, enraged screaming, I will kill you. Echoing, Inferno style, flame control. Sasuke fired a powerful blast of the black fire of Amaterasu and Nico fired a powerful blast of fire using Pyro's powers and the blasts collided and exploded. Krabuhuiwam. Sasuke threw numerous shuriken and kunao at him and Nico used Riot's powers and turned his arms into swords and deflected them and destroyed them. Sasuke pulled out a kunao and dashed at Nico and Nico formed a blade of light with Shiv's powers and slashed the kunao apart and Nico formed Scorpion's tail and slammed it into Sasuke's face and fired a blast of acid and it hit Sasuke in the back and burned him bad. Nico went at him and slashed Sasuke with Xehanort's Keyblade and summoned numerous Heartless and they kicked his butt hard. Nico backed away and Sasuke fired more blasts of fire and Nico fired a blast of water with Hydro Man's water powers and the water hit the fire and a massive cloud of steam erupted out. Sasuke was now completely out of his mind with so much rage and fury that was unbelievable. Sasuke, I've had it with you. I hate you. Nico's aura flared up with an incredible intensity. Nico, you can hate me all you want. But all you're doing is just making me more powerful. Nico threw Hobgoblin's pumpkin bombs and they hit by Sasuke and exploded and blew him into the rock wall. Nico then fired Trap Jaw's laser bow. The blast hit Sasuke and sent him into the wall further. Sasuke got up and he charged up a Chidori. Sasuke, echoing, Chidori. Sasuke ran at an incredible speed and Nico used Evan's powers and went through a portal of shadow and reappeared in the sky. Nico used King Leonard the Pig's powers and threw TNT crates and they all hit around Sasuke and exploded. Boom. 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 Kaboom. Boom. Kaboom. Nico then pinned Sasuke down with Webster's webs and fired Electro's lightning and Evil Stewie's rays at him and they hit him and burned him and electrocuted him. Nico teleported and he spit Xenomorph acid at him and burned his face and he kicked him and slashed him in the side with Shredder's blades. Sasuke got up and he charged up another Chidori. Sasuke, you may be strong but you're still just a stupid and worthless loser. Nico, I would rather be a stupid and worthless loser than a heartless monster like you. Sasuke, you, censored, up, censored. Echoing, Chidori True Spear. Nico, pathetic. Nico took a deep breath and he used Dark Danny's powers and released a massive sonic ghost scream that was so loud that it shattered rock and more. The sonic scream destroyed Sasuke's technique and blew Sasuke into the mountain and buried him in a massive pile of pebbles and rocks. Sasuke got up from the rubble and he was badly beaten. Nico, Sasuke Uchiha of the Uchiha clan, you and your clan have failed the entirety of this world. It's over. You've lost. Sasuke was extremely enraged. Sasuke, all that you've done to me, I'll pay you back 10,000 times. No, 10 trillion times. Storm clouds were building up in the sky and lightning struck everywhere. Sasuke, you wretched loser. You will pay for this. Nico was ready to fight some more. The storm building over them was a powerful one. It was shaking the planet to the very core. Nico got out of his stance. Nico, it's done. Sasuke, what do you mean? Nico stood there not saying anything. Sasuke, don't just stand there, say something. Nico didn't say anything. Sasuke, you said it's done. What do you mean? Nico, your energy level is decreasing with every blow. In fact, you're not even a challenge to me anymore. It wouldn't be fair for me to keep fighting you. I'm satisfied now. Your pride has been torn to shreds. You've challenged and lost to a fighter who is superior to you in every way, and to make it worse, he was a loser. Right? Shizuke had his words thrown right back into his face, and he was in so much shock and rage. Nico, it would be meaningless to fight you now. You're too scared and ashamed. Live with the shock. Keep it bottled up inside of you. Silently. Sasuke's pride had been completely and irreparably shattered, and he was completely humiliated by Nico. Nico had him completely outclassed. Shizuke had no idea what he was up against. He was completely outclassed by the sheer ferocity of Nico's power. Shizuke was completely no match for him. Shizuke was not going to accept this. He was so enraged that it was unbelievable. Shizuke, I will not tolerate this. I'm an elite. I come from a clan of elites. I will never be defeated. Shizuke then went through a huge number of hand signs. In the control room we were watching, and JD2 recognized the hand signs that he was about to do. JD2, gasp. JD, you have to get everyone in that world out of there now. Me, what is it? What's wrong? JD2, that jutsu he's about to use is a catastrophic kamikaze forbidden jutsu called Fire Style, Armageddon. Me, what does that jutsu do? JD2, it's a deadly and extremely devastating jutsu that turns the user into a living gamma ray burst, and it possesses enough power to destroy the entire planet with the explosive power of a supernova. Me, what? It has that kind of power? JD2, that's right. Shizuke is going to blow himself up and take Nico and the entire world of shinobi with him. Me, oh man. I snapped my fingers and beamed Nico back to us, and everyone merged everyone with their counterparts. Shizuke thought that Nico was still there, and he activated his jutsu. Shizuke, if I go down, I'm taking you all and this censored planet with me. See you all in hell, you censored. Echoing Fire Style Armageddon. Shizuke was enveloped in a massive white light, and a massive explosion of fire and light enveloped the planet, and then the whole planet exploded with unbelievable power. Crab. The explosion was so powerful and so devastating that it illuminated the entirety of the solar system. When the smoke cleared, the entire planet was completely obliterated in an instant. There was nothing left. It was all gone. Me? Wow. What power? I can't believe that there is a jutsu that has enough power to destroy the entire planet. Nico? Unbelievable. Lincoln? That was almost too close for comfort. Lainey? No kidding. Lana? But that Shizuke deserves death. Nico? But thanks guys. That was a really close one. Shizuke, I just can't believe that I was gonna turn into someone that was that evil. Mei, no kidding. Crunch. Mei had just kicked Shizuke right in the crotch. Shizuke, squeaking, okay. I deserved that. Mei, that wasn't needed. Mei, I know, but I wanted to make sure that he doesn't go down that path ever. Me, well, you got a point there. Nico, yet. Asterisk. Part 2, the kindergarten total drama contestants. Asterisk. We were walking through the halls of school. The total drama stars were with us. 20 minutes earlier, Lincoln and Lainey were in Mrs. Johnson's class. Mrs. Johnson, okay class. We have a special project coming up. Lincoln, oh. Mrs. Johnson. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have to go to Mrs. Shrinova's class. Mrs. Johnson, that's right. How about you tell everyone what it's for, Lincoln? Lincoln, sure. We're giving a special presentation to the kindergarten kids about our adventures on Total Drama. Everyone was excited. Clyde, that is awesome, buddy. Lincoln, thanks, Clyde. Liam, Southern accent, those challenges you all did were amazing. Zach, they sure were. Lincoln, thanks, guys. Stella, LH, you all had an awesome time over there and you all sure kicked some butt. Mrs. Johnson, they sure did, Stella. I think it was amazing that you got to be on a show like that. Lincoln, thanks, Mrs. Johnson. Ready, Lainey? Lainey, you know I always am, Lincoln. In the present, Mrs. Srinivas was letting everyone know what was going on. Mrs. Srinivas, India accent, now class, we have some very special guests coming to give a presentation for you all. Everyone cheered. There was a knock on the door. Mrs. Srinivas, they're here. Please welcome the contestants of the most popular show in Canada and the world, Total Drama. The door opened and we came in. Me, hello kids. Everyone cheered. We gathered and sat down. Me, it's so awesome to give you all this presentation for you all. Our presentation for you all is our fun adventures on the world's most popular show up in Canada, Total Drama. Everyone cheered. Little kids that were little versions of Owen, Duncan, Izzy, Gwen, Noah, Cody, Beth, Courtney, Harold, Bridget, and Lashana hopped onto their older versions' laps. Me, now for those of you that don't know what Total Drama is, it's a show that was created up in Canada. Miss Srinivas handed me a globe and I pointed to Canada. Me, this is Canada. It's a country located up north. Darcy, that is amazing. Lisa, indeed, Darcy. Kid 1, what is Total Drama? Me, it's a very popular show. It's a show where you compete in these crazy challenges that can get someone seriously hurt. Darcy, what was the hardest challenge you all did? Gwen, that is a good question. I would say that the hardest challenge we did was the Awake-a-thon. Me, that challenge was a hard one. During the first season they had to stay up close to 96 hours. Kid 2, how long is that? Noah, that was 4 whole days. Kids, wow. Lisa, that was a very excruciating challenge from what we have seen. Me, it sure was, Lisa. When we did it during season 7, me and my brother won the challenge and we stayed up for over 5 days. Kids, wow. Darcy, that's a long time. Duncan, it sure was. I'm impressed. Little Duncan, yeah, I sure am, bro. Duncan, yep. Kid 2, who was the worst person on the show? Me, that is one of our most popular questions. Lashana, but the worst of them all was a vicious monster named Heather. Darcy, who is Heather? I pulled out a photo of all of us on Total Drama and I showed it to them and pointed to Heather. Me, that's her. That girl is Heather and she is the worst of them all. Lori, she is literally the worst of them all, kids. Lenny, she totes gives a new meaning to. What was it? Me, the worst human being to ever live. Lenny, write that. Luna, you said it, dude. Me, yep. Here's a series of clips for you all to see what Heather was like. Mrs. Srinivas pushed in a TV and I pressed the play button and we showed everyone a montage of clips that showed how evil Heather was. Me, this is a video of the evil monster that Heather was. Everyone saw how bad Heather was. Me, and there you have it, kids. Darcy, wow. Heather was one nasty girl. Lashana, nasty is an understatement. Little Lashana, I would not want to meet someone like that. Lashana, you and me both. Me, okay now. Everyone, we're going to share our opinions with you all on Heather. Darcy, neat. Me, Beth, what is your opinion? Beth, she is a bossy psycho. In Total Drama Island, Heather gets Beth to join her alliance, although Heather is just using her along with Lindsay. Beth, however, finally becomes brave enough to stand up to Heather and quits the alliance in Paintball Deer Hunter. Afterwards, their conflict continues throughout the rest of the series, even though Beth mostly chooses to ignore Heather in all their later interactions. Darcy, she sure hurt you bad. Beth, yes she did. Little Beth, I'm sorry big sis. Beth, it's okay. Me, Blaine Ely. Blaine Ely, I was the host of Celebrity Manhunt and I also had an appearance in Total Drama World Tour. Kid 3, how did you hate Heather? Blaine Ely, hate is a very strong word. But here's what I know about her. In Celebrity Manhunt's Total Drama Action Reunion special, Blaine Ely covers Heather and Gwen's blog war, even having them appear on the show, and says that she sides with Gwen. When Blaine Ely becomes a contestant in Niagara Brawls, Heather greatly shows a dislike towards the former Celebrity Manhunt CEO host, even expressing her dislike towards her during Blaine-rific. Blaine Ely is also mad when Heather got to be partnered up with Alejandro for the challenge. Their conflict grows in Chinese fake out. As they run, Heather tells Blaine Ely to stop breathing down her neck when she makes a comment, to which Blaine Ely responds by violently smacking Heather across her face. Later on, Blaine Ely mocks Heather, which prompts Heather to say that Blaine Ely is a diva that doesn't look like she's going anywhere anytime soon. At the end of the first challenge, Heather seems more determined to beat Blaine Ely than anyone else and isn't happy when she finds out that Blaine Ely had arrived before her. During the second part of the challenge, Heather accuses Blaine Ely of cheating because she seems to be getting normal food rather than the gross food everyone else was getting. Before she takes the drop of shame, Blaine Ely tells Heather and Alejandro to drop the act and make out. Blaine Ely is the only person to be on Heather's team originally in Hawaiian style, although this is because Duncan put a Team Heather flare in the injured Blaine Lee's sling. Lisa, what Heather did to you makes her nothing more than a heartless and true psychopathic monster. Lainey, you got that right Lisa. Me, yet. Bridget? Bridget, me and Jeff were the hosts of Total Drama Aftermath and it didn't work out well. Me, but regardless you all had a good time. Bridget, yet. Despite being on different teams, Bridget knows of Heather's cruelty and has a few minor scuffles with her early in Total Drama Island. While the conflict briefly foreshadows in the first episode, it truly begins in Not Quite Famous when Heather attempts to stir up drama with the killer base by accusing Bridget of sabotaging Courtney on purpose so she could get her 15 seconds of fame and further mocks Bridget of gaining extra weight if she eats too many potato chips. In retaliation for the second comment, Bridget throws her bag of chips at her. Later, when Heather reads Gwen's diary out loud to the campers and the entire viewing world, Bridget agrees with Courtney that it was mean of Heather to do so. Bridget's dislike for Heather makes her abandon her peaceful nature and shoot Heather with paintballs in Paintball Deer Hunter after Harold reminded that Heather is one of the deer in the challenge. The conflict intensifies in Brunch of Disgustingness as Heather attempts to pull Bridget into forming an alliance with her, though Bridget ends up choosing her friends Gwen and Lashana over her. Their conflict isn't as intense in later seasons, though Bridget dislikes it when Jeff calls Heather the hottest girl on the show in the aftermath. When Heather appears as a guest in the aftermath. 3. Bridget makes fun of her new wig. When Heather becomes part of the final 3 in Total Drama World Tour, Bridget pities her for having only one supporter and forces Owen, Justin, Lashana, and Eva to join Team Heather. After Heather defeats Alejandro in her ending of Hawaiian Punch, Bridget cheers for her. Izzy, I remember that. That was a cool team. Me, it was. Darcy, yet. Me, Cameron. Cameron, Heather is how I would describe as a monster. Like the others, Cameron greatly dislikes Heather, especially when she steals the prize money and tries to run away with it in Up, and Away in My Pitiful Balloon. While chasing the Zeppelin, Heather throws several Jummy statues at Cameron, one of which hits him in the groin. Eventually, Cameron's rocket crashes into the Zeppelin, defeating her and winning the challenge. The two of them become teammates in Total Drama All-Stars after Cameron switches to the villainous vultures in Moon Madness. However, Heather doesn't seem to like Cameron and insults him on his first day along with Courtney and Alejandro. In No One Expects the Spanish Opposition, Heather tries to convince Cameron and Gwen to help her to vote off Alejandro by lying that he is targeting Cameron for the next elimination. Although Cameron questions why should they help her in the first place, he and Gwen indeed vote for Alejandro that night. In the final reckoning, Cameron stands up to Alejandro and Heather and refuses to let them pass, professing his loyalty to Zoe. We cheered for Cameron. Me, well done Cameron. Lisa, indeed. That was most impressive. Nico, it sure was. Me, yep. Cody, I didn't talk much to Heather. Cody and Heather didn't interact much in Total Drama Island, though the latter often teases Cody for his weaker attributes. 2 seasons later, they are on the same team again. When they reach the Final Four, Heather would attempt to get Cody to team up with her under the promise of her defending him from Sierra. Despite Heather indirectly causing his defeat in Hawaiian Punch, Cody still supports her against Alejandro, because he nearly killed him. Cody even calls her a good guy, to try to get her out of the cage he accidentally trapped her in. In Heather's ending, he applauds Heather, like the others. Cody, I only applauded for her to show support because we were on the same team. Me, good for you Cody. Darcy, that was nice of you Cody. Cody, thanks Darcy. Little Cody, it sure was nice. Me, Courtney, you have a grudge with Heather, right? Courtney, I sure do. She was a monster. For the first 2 seasons, Courtney and Heather are placed on opposing teams, but appear to be conflicted towards one another. This includes trying to be the better leader in Dodge Brawl and Heather becoming obsessed with gaining Courtney's hair in $1 million BC. They were both put on Team Amazon in Total Drama World Tour, where their conflict rises due to wanting the leadership role and, later on, both of them having a romantic interest in Alejandro. In the finale, Courtney chooses to support Alejandro and goes to great lengths to prevent Heather from winning. 2 seasons later, their rivalry continues, albeit shorter, after Courtney transfers to the villainous Vultures as they once again fight over leadership of the team. Courtney, she was a total monster and we needed someone to put her in her place. Little Courtney, I'm glad you did big sis. Courtney, me too. Me, you got that right. DJ? What do you think? DJ, Heather is an absolute monster. DJ is apparently one of few contestants that Heather has a soft spot for, even showing concern for him in the Sandwich Project when his recent guilt becomes too great for him to handle. While DJ sometimes dislikes Heather's mean attitude, he still treats her politely as he does with everyone else. When DJ loses confidence in continuing Total Drama World Tour after becoming the final member of his team, Heather offers to protect DJ with the condition that he becomes allies with her team. Heather would go to great lengths in Noof Kids on the Rock to gain DJ's trust, but DJ outright refuses her help any further after being tricked into singing as well as completing the first 2 challenges. Ultimately, DJ decides to ally with Team Chris is really hot instead. When DJ is eliminated in the next episode, Heather sarcastically mocks him for choosing the wrong team to ally with. DJ initially chooses to support Cody in the finale, but after he is eliminated, he switches to Heather's side due to his bigger hatred for Alejandro. Me, well there was some good in Heather. But that doesn't excuse her for the terrible person she is. Lisa, indeed. Me, yet. Duncan, well I was once in love with Heather. Initially, Duncan displays attraction to Heather when everyone arrives at Camp for Wanakwe, though Heather always rejected him, and continues to show small signs of attraction in future episodes. However, he grows to hate her like everyone else does soon enough, even finding her cold and that's off the chain. When she abandons Lindsay. When accused of being just as nasty, Duncan retorts that he is at least straight with people. However, he would try to deceive Heather later on in the season as it came down to the final 4, only to have it turn around on him and results in his own elimination. Additionally, he wrongly accuses Heather of being the cause of Courtney voted off the island. In Total Drama Action, he continues to dislike Heather, particularly when she mockingly calls him pretty boy. He informs her that the last person who calls him pretty looked a lot less pretty. Eventually, Duncan loses all signs of attraction for her and the conflict between them becomes intense. Duncan, falling in love with her was a mistake. Little Duncan, I would never fall in love for someone like Heather. Duncan, I agree with you little bro. Me, we also had a contestant on our show named Eva. She had a really nasty anger problem. She was mad all the time kids. Kid 4, was she really that angry? Me, oh yeah. Her anger was so strong that she hated everything. Eva is the first person to be eliminated due to Heather's scheming. In the big sleep, Heather steals Eva's MP3 player and then returns it to her later on after Eva had destroyed the base cabin in an attempt to find it. This leads to Eva being voted off by her teammates. When Eva returns in no pain, no game, Eva frightens Heather when she enters the cabin and when she questions the presence of the tape that Heather placed on the floor in the previous episode. Heather quickly removes it, stating that it isn't important. After the challenge ends, Heather votes for Eva, calling her a rageaholic and scribbling devil horns and a pointed beard on her picture. Likewise, Eva chooses to vote for Heather. In Trial by Tri-Armed Triathlon, Heather is spooked by the presence of 2 wooden carvings of Eva's head, and even called it upsetting, during the 3rd challenge. By Haute Camp Tour, Eva finds out that Heather was responsible for her initial elimination and vows revenge. Throughout the episode, she constantly badmouths Heather. After the winner is declared in the very last episode, really, Eva tells Heather that she stinks, due to her being locked in the confessional after Owen had used it. In Hawaiian style, Eva initially sides with Cody, but Bridget forces her to support Heather instead, much to her displeasure. Despite this, she still cheers for Heather when she wins in her ending. Me, Eva hated everyone's guts and she wanted to destroy everyone. Darcy, that is scary. But Heather should be scared of her. Lisa, indeed Darcy. Me, Ezekiel. Ezekiel, I never really liked Heather, She is the worst of them all and I hate her guts. Me, you and me both brother. Darcy, what does it mean? Me, oh, it's a verbal tic that most people up in Canada use. It's part of the Canadian culture. Ezekiel, yet it's been that way for us for years Despite their rather lack of interaction, Ezekiel admits that he finds Heather bossy in Haute Camp Tour. In planes, trains, and hot air mobiles, when Heather's nemesis Alejandro boards the train she is on, he releases a restrained Ezekiel to attack her, his dislike imminent. Despite a sudden disappearance, which left the rivals to fight each other themselves, resulting in Alejandro being pushed off the train, he reappears again and attacks Heather. She tries to talk to him by bringing back memories of Camp Verwanakwe when he was still semi-human. Ezekiel is not moved, however, and after a brief yet rough physical confrontation, he manages to throw her out of the train. Me, nice job throwing her out of that train dude. Ezekiel, thanks man. Me, you're welcome. Jeff, Heather is the worst of them all dude. Me and Bridget were the hosts of Total Drama Aftermath. In Search and Do Not Destroy, after Heather tricks Trent into kissing her, Lashana tells Jeff to vote either Trent or Heather off the show. In That's Off the Chain, Jeff glares at Heather as he witnesses the dramatic scene of her abandoning her longtime alliance mate, Lindsay. Jeff admits that Heather freaks him out with her strategy talk in Trial by Tri-Armed Triathlon. In that same episode, Heather votes him off because she fears that his overall niceness would end up becoming a problem for her own survival in the future, as being the nicest camper is a huge threat to everyone else. In the aftermath, Jeff claims Heather to be the most attractive female on the show, which puts a massive strain on his relationship with Bridget. Despite finding her hot, Jeff claims that he would certainly never date her, seeming disgusted with the idea. In the aftermath, 3, since Heather was one of the guests in this episode, Jeff straps Heather into the electric chair as part of the Truth or Electrocution segment and laughs whenever she is caught lying and is electrocuted as a result. When Bridget, Lashana, and Owen agree that Jeff has become much more sadistic and harsh, Heather comments on how proud she is. She later joins Bridget, Lashana, and Owen to get Jeff into the electric chair as a taste of his own medicine. Bridget becomes concerned about him not acting like himself by wanting to hurt the other contestants. She asks him who he thinks is the hottest girl on the show, somehow aware of his comments in the previous Aftermath shows. In Aftermath, Revenge of the Telethon, while interviewing Lashana, Jeff asks if it felt good to have repeatedly slapped Heather during Slap Slap Revolution. In Hawaiian style, Jeff once again compliments Lashana for beating up Heather in Slap Slap Revolution. During Who You Gonna Root For, Jeff states that everyone hates Heather. While describing the final 3 contestants, Jeff scribbles on the monitor of Heather's image, drawing her as a vampire. He explains this is because she is both evil and unstoppable. Me, well said dude. Jeff, thanks man. Kid 5, Heather is a monster. She was born in fire. We laughed. Me, well said. That's a great way to describe her. Gwen? Gwen, Heather and I have hated each other since day 1 of the competition. Little Gwen, she must have been a really bad and dark person. Gwen, that is really inspirational. From the moment they first meet, Gwen and Heather display a strong dislike towards one another, similar to many other contestants who have interacted with Heather. In Total Drama Island, Gwen is the most frequent victim of Heather's cruel actions, and is even given the nickname Word Goth Girl. A notorious example of this bullying was in Search and Do Not Destroy, where Heather deceives Gwen into believing that her love interest, Trent, was cheating on her with Heather. However, Gwen usually exacts her revenge on Heather, sometimes with the aid of her friend, Lashana, who has a similar hatred towards Heather. It was due to Gwen orchestrating a brief alliance with Owen in I Triple Dog Dare You that Heather suffers her greatest humiliation to date, accidentally having her hair shaved off. Heather is eliminated from the competition in the process, and Gwen advances to the final 2 with Owen for the $100,000. Their intense rivalry and conflict continues in Total Drama Action when they are placed on the same team again. They immediately butt heads from the moment they step off the bus that carries them to their new location, an abandoned film lot. Although Gwen still despises Heather due to her actions in the first season, she reluctantly selects Heather for her team, the Screaming Gaffers, due to Lashana's advice to keep your friends close, and keep your enemies closer. Their conflict is heightened, though was cut short, in the Chef Shank Redemption, when Gwen is eliminated over Heather after she finds out that Gwen was throwing the challenge. Following the conclusion of the second season, it is revealed in Celebrity Manhunt's Total Drama Action Reunion special that the 2 girls engaged in a heated video blog war with each other, confirming that the conflict was still active. The conflict continues as of Total Drama World Tour, as Gwen and Heather once again end up on the same team, but has lost some focus. However, early in the season, Gwen and Courtney team up against Heather, attempting to vote her off at any chance they got. Their first chance ultimately fails, due to Heather being spared in a fake elimination. In I See London, Gwen is caught kissing Courtney's boyfriend Duncan behind her back, as revealed by Tyler. This scandal completely took the target off Heather's back as Courtney furiously turned against Gwen and desperately tried to get her eliminated. Although Heather teams up with Courtney for a while against Gwen, it was later revealed that Heather had her fingers crossed. She eventually lost her patience with Courtney, due to her going so far as to throw challenges to get their team to lose just so that Gwen could be eliminated. Since Heather disapproved of this, considering winning more important than eliminating Gwen, she ironically ends up teaming up with Gwen against Courtney, only for Gwen to be eliminated in the same episode that they teamed up in, due to a tiebreaker between her and Courtney. Despite being on the same team a 4th time, Gwen and Heather's conflict is a little more toned down in Total Drama All-Stars, due to Gwen having a more prominent interaction with other members of her team, and Heather's early elimination. In the midst of Heather and Joe's heated arguments about who would be team leader, both attempt forming alliances with Gwen and saving Private Leech Ball, but Gwen is oblivious, seeing this more as her team wanting teamwork. Eventually, Heather wants to get back at Alejandro, and tries to pull several members of her team including Gwen to vote him off. Despite their conflict, Gwen follows the plan, but it is Heather who gets voted off in the end after Alejandro uses the McLean-browned Chris head to save himself. In the finale, the conflict between them resumes once again and Gwen is able to do something that she had waited for several seasons: smack Heather in the head. Not so happy campers. Part 1. Sparks of a conflict begin in this episode as the Screaming Gophers first walk into their cabins. After Gwen makes a sarcastic remark at Heather for her immediate whining about the cabin, the latter replies by giving her the nickname of Weird Goth Girl, which she goes on to use in reference to Gwen throughout the series. Not so happy campers. Part 2. Gwen fully agrees with Lashana that Heather's reasoning for her refusing to jump off the cliff during their first challenge is ridiculous. Dodge Brawl. When Gwen enters the main lodge, Heather along with the rest of the Screaming Gophers cheer due to her helping the team win the previous challenge. Due to Gwen being fatigued, Heather allows her to sit out for the first round. When Noah criticized the lack of effort the team put in the challenge they just lost, Heather announced that for once she agreed with Gwen in wanting Noah to shut up, since he didn't even try to help the team out. Not quite famous. The challenge for this episode is a talent show, and Heather declares herself team captain, which Gwen disagrees as Heather forces her alliance mates, Lindsay and Beth, to vote for her. Gwen angrily leaves with Trent to go to the dock of shame to get away from Heather and everyone else. Heather, feeling threatened by her independence and becoming suspicious, finds Gwen's diary, with Lindsay's help, and reads it out for everyone to hear at the talent show, revealing her crush on Trent. Gwen most likely votes her off that night, but it fails when Justin leaves instead. In retaliation, Gwen dumps Harold's red ant farm on Heather, when she is asleep, who runs out of her cabin screaming. Gwen smiles and goes to bed peacefully that night, while Heather screams outside. The sucky outdoors. Heather tells the rest of the team that Gwen for sure would be the next one to leave the island, after what Gwen did to her the night before. However, Trent defends Gwen by pointing out her retaliation is justified, considering how severely Heather humiliated Gwen on national television. Heather refuses to admit that she did anything wrong and swears that Gwen is going down. Paintball Deer Hunter. Heather tells Gwen to worry about her own fluffy tail grumpily during the challenge when Gwen asks Heather if she is going with Trent and herself in the challenge. If you can't take the heat. Gwen can barely contain her laughter when Heather accidentally blows up her flambe, which not only burns Heather's face but also completely burning away her eyebrows. Who can you trust? Edit. Gwen and Lashana mock Heather that morning, who is suffering from a cold after being locked in a freezer for so long in the previous episode. Heather vowed to get her revenge on Gwen, who, actually, had nothing to do with it. Luckily for Heather, she and Gwen are partnered up for the first challenge, where Gwen has to climb to the top of a mountain that has explosive dynamite along with various other obstacles, while Heather has to hold the rope to keep her from falling. Gwen asks Chris if they can trade partners because she refuses to trust Heather. Heather drops Gwen on her head, by accident, and later reveals her underwear to the world, on purpose. Later, after Heather falls into the jellyfish pool and gets relentlessly stung and electrocuted, Gwen is seen very content with this incident in the confessional. Basic straining. Heather and the rest of the team celebrate Gwen's victory after she defeats Jeff in the final challenge, thus securing the Gophers' safety from elimination. Brunch of disgustingness. The teams are dissolved into single-gender teams, and Bridget, the only female killer base member remaining, was the only new girl on her team. Heather begins acting nice towards Bridget, but to only convince Bridget into joining her alliance. Gwen tells Bridget to watch out for Heather, causing the two to exchange angry looks while Bridget, sheepishly, walks away. After arguing, Heather divides the cabin, one side being Lindsay and Heather's and the other being Lashana and Gwen's side. Bridget ultimately chooses Gwen and Lashana's side. Later on, during the competition, Heather was notorious for pressuring the other girls to eat the disgusting meals, especially vegetarian Bridget, who struggled with eating meat-based dishes, only to hypocritically chicken out on a number of meals herself. At one point, Gwen grabbed Heather in an attempt to force her to practice what she preached. At the end of the episode, Gwen and Lashana lock Heather and Lindsay out of their cabin. Search and do not destroy. Heather spots Gwen kissing Trent after he helped her out with getting her key. As she considering the romantic relationship in a rival alliance, Heather wants a monopoly on all alliances, and thus made a plan to break up Gwen and Trent. She had Lindsay forge a love note to Gwen that instructed her to meet him at the Dock of Shame at a specific time for a surprise. Meanwhile, Heather lures Trent to the dock and proceeds to tell him several assorted lies about Gwen and how she really felt about him. Heather tricks Trent into thinking Gwen was only using him to get further in the competition, that she found him to be a cliché and that his music sucked. Just as Gwen arrives at the dock, she sees Heather suddenly kiss Trent. Without even being noticed by Trent, Gwen ran off to the other side of the island to cry out her sorrows in seeing her mortal enemy kiss the one guy she cared for in the competition. Heather succeeded in turning the two against each other, though after all of that, Gwen still did not vote Trent off. However, after Gwen tells Lashana her side of the story, Lashana recruits nearly every camper into a temporary voting block to get rid of Heather or Trent, preferably Heather. Gwen did not know about this. Since Heather won invincibility, the vast majority of the campers voted off Trent. After Heather told Trent he was wrong about getting along with everyone, Gwen accused her of not caring. Heather revealed her treacherous scheme moments before Trent left the island, allowing he and Gwen to make amends. While they parted on a positive note, the end result was ultimately what Heather hoped for, making Gwen vulnerable by getting rid of her boyfriend. Hide and be sneaky. Gwen is still depressed over what Heather did in the previous episode, but Lashana promises they will get revenge on her. Later, while Gwen is taking a shower, Heather turns the hot water on in the sink and gives Gwen a freezing cold shower, simply to get on her case. She then gives Gwen a fake apology for the stunt, which prompts Lashana to retaliate by physically attacking Heather. Shortly after Gwen is found by Chef Hatchet, in her grass camouflage, Heather announces that she has won invincibility again by finding Owen and DJ. Heather passes by Gwen, mocking her for how she looks in her camouflage outfit. Later on, Heather tries to get the girls to unanimously vote one of the guys off, as she became aware of their alliance and their plot to pick the girls off, one by one. However, Gwen and a few choice others refuse to agree on Heather's choice, making the plan to vote unanimously fail. That's off the chain. When a bird excretes on Heather's head, Gwen is satisfied and laughs, considering that it is just another way of karma getting back at Heather. When Heather says that her bike weighs only 2 ounces, Gwen remarks just like her brain. Gwen also looks mad when Heather ends up being the winner of the motocross challenge. Gwen later glares at Heather for using Lindsay to thrust her way through the competition, and is very pleased to see Lindsay curse Heather out after she got Lindsay eliminated. It's also worth noting that this one act gave Gwen new respect for Lindsay, who she had a tense relationship with. Prior to this, Heather reminds everyone that she gained invincibility for the 3rd time and that no one can touch her. With a vengeful expression, Gwen points out that it was only for this particular week. Hook, line, and screamer. Heather mocks Gwen and Duncan for their love of horror movies, finding it to be only mindless guts and gore. The two argue that it is actually filled with psychological trauma, using the terrified DJ as an example. Heather is the first one to ignore Gwen's lead on the situation of the challenge, which is to survive a real-life horror movie. Heather dismisses the challenge completely and heads off into the shower in spite of Gwen's warnings. When Gwen rushes into the bathroom after hearing what she thought was Heather screaming, it was actually DJ. Heather assures Gwen that she is fine, though she still ignores Gwen's warning about showing alone. Before leaving, Gwen sarcastically notes that Heather's green facial mask is a good look for her, shocking her. When it is discovered that Gwen is facing the real killer, Heather and the others rush over to her to let her know what she is truly up against. Verwanique gone wild. The challenge was that the campers had to catch an animal that they randomly choose and could use anything in the boathouse. Gwen's assigned a duck and Heather has a bear to catch, so they get in a tug-of-war fight over a net. Gwen then sees duck bait, so she let go of the net, causing Heather to fall and get stuck in a bucket of fish. Gwen taunts Heather as she walks out, telling her that the net they were fighting over would never catch a bear anyway. When in the confessional, Heather spews that she's most likely the favorite to win the entire competition because of the remaining campers on the island and lists the remaining contestants, calling Gwen weird goth girl in the process. After Gwen captures her assigned animal and returns it back to camp, she told Heather to open the cage door, in which Heather listened and opened it for her, making Gwen win the reward for completing the challenge first. However, Heather doesn't seem to mind Gwen winning the challenge, or she just doesn't care. It is also implied that she did not vote for Gwen, despite their conflict because of her issue with Izzy. She seems very intent on making Gwen receive the last marshmallow over Izzy. Later in the episode, Heather tells Duncan to scrub the shower with Gwen's toothbrush due to Lashana taking a shower after falling in the mud several times. Camp Castaways. In the beginning of the episode, Heather and Gwen were sitting on the steps of their cabin when Heather begins taunting Gwen about Lashana's elimination. Gwen then stomps on the stairs to mess up Heather polishing her toenails and told her to vote herself off. Later, they, Owen, and Duncan got stranded on a deserted island and Heather said in the confessional stall that she was with crazy people, referring to Gwen and Duncan. Gwen, trying to get back to the campsite, built a raft and started to sail away with Duncan, making Heather plead to go with them, but Gwen tauntingly dismisses her. When Owen convinces his 3 friends to confess their sins before they die on the island, Heather becomes suspicious of Gwen after having heard her story and even suspected that Gwen may not be her real name. Gwen became suspiciously uncomfortable at this last remark. Are we there yeti? Gwen and Heather had to partner with one another in the challenge in order to get back to the campsite provided with equipment to help them. Chef was in charge as Chris was away. Gwen later says in the confessional stall that she couldn't believe that the producers left her in the woods with Heather. Heather then said she would have instantly ditched Gwen, but would keep her around so if a bear came, she could push Gwen for the bear to eat her. Initially, they start arguing but eventually decided to work together so that they could win invincibility. Throughout the challenge, they kept trying to outwit the boys but end up losing all of their supplies in the process, having to walk to the campgrounds without any sense of direction. In the end, they managed to trick the boys by making them believe that the girls would not be able to complete the challenge on their own and would camp with the boys for the night. They then take off after the boys fall asleep and Heather manages to take the map from Duncan. Thus, they won the challenge, even high-fiving each other at the end. I triple dog dare you. Gwen and Heather were bad-mouthing each other in the confessional stall. Afterward, they went to the challenge, which was to play I triple dog dare you. Gwen dares Heather to lick Owen's armpit, then Heather dared Gwen to chew and eat her toenail, slowly. When Gwen asks Heather if she was satisfied, Heather responds gleefully by saying that she pictured Trent watching this, believing that he wouldn't want to kiss her anytime soon. The Trent jokes continue after Gwen had to drink powdered fruit punch from the communal toilets. Heather taunted her by saying that Trent would never want to go near her. At this rate, Trent's gonna need a fumigation squad just to, which Gwen, sick to her stomach, responding by burping in her face, cutting the jesting short. This quieted Heather. Eventually, Gwen and Owen teamed up when Gwen asked him to give half of his freebies to her, and began hooping Heather with dares. After Heather is eliminated and had her head shaved, Gwen and Owen were relieved that they had finally gotten rid of Heather after everything she had done. The very last episode, really. Gwen did not list Heather as one of the 5 sane people, as she called her a backstabbing and manipulative jerk. When Heather comes to the peanut gallery in her new wig, Gwen sarcastically states, "Nice rug," which prompts Heather to tell Gwen, "Bite me." In the confessional, Heather reveals that she secretly gave a cupcake made with laxatives to Gwen, with the card claiming the cupcake was from Trent, before the challenge to ensure that she loses. Unbeknownst to Heather, Owen ate the cupcake after seeing how delicious it looks. When Owen declares what he would do with the $1 million, Heather cheers for Owen and blows a raspberry at Gwen. In addition to the laxative cupcake, Heather tampers with the various obstacles in Gwen's course in an effort to slow her down, such as greasing her pole, wiped off by Trent, and pulling Justin's shirt off, though it distracts Owen too. In Gwen's ending, Gwen invites every camper to her party except for Heather. Heather, who scowls at her. At the end of the episode, Gwen bumps Heather playfully and tells her she has to be a little happy to see Chris thrown into the water. They smile at each other and Heather admits she is happy. Gwen says that she still hated her, though Gwen was smiling, so she may have meant this playfully. Total drama, 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 drama island. Along with Trent and Lashana, Gwen laughs when Heather walks past due to the drawing that had been made on the back of her head by Lashana. She refuses to team up with her and laughs when she is being attacked by beavers, and Trent makes a joke about helping her. Me, Gwen and Heather have hated each other's guts since the day they met. Gwen, we sure did. Me, and here's a video of how much Gwen and Heather hate each other. I played a video of Gwen and Heather hating each other. Kid 1, wow. Kid 2, that is a tough fight. Me, it sure was. And Gwen got some serious payback in Season 7. Watch. Gwen and Heather's fight during the events of the Canadian Mutant Island saga, and she was awesome. Little Gwen, you sure were amazing. Gwen, thanks little Gwen. Me, but it was absolutely humiliating when she read Gwen's diary in front of everyone. Everyone booed. Me, my thoughts exactly, kids. Heather's doctorate was in revenge and humiliation. Well, it's been revoked. Everyone cheered. Me, Harold. Harold, Heather is an absolute monster. After Total Drama Island ends and her true nature is revealed, Heather finds herself without an ally, as none of the contestants are willing to trust her, but found an unlikely friend in Harold who sympathizes with her. Even after Heather betrays him in the special, Harold bears no hard feelings towards her and continues to help her later throughout the episode. After a brief talk, Heather tells Harold that they can be friends, although she looks at the camera and shakes her head immediately after. In Total Drama Action, Heather and Harold are placed on the team, though they spend more time fighting with each other, often with Heather joining Duncan in mocking Harold's geekiness. However, there are moments the two of them get along well. They did not interact much in Total Drama World Tour due to Harold's early elimination and being on different teams. However, during the finale, Harold decides to help Heather beat Alejandro due to his greater dislike for the latter. When she wins in her ending, Harold and majority of the contestants cheer for her. Me, way to sock it to her, dude. We fist bump. Harold, thanks man. Little Harold, that monster Heather is a freak. Harold, you said it, little bro. Me, yep. Izzy? Izzy, I think Heather is an absolute psycho. As a running gag in Total Drama Island, Heather always calls Izzy impudent names such as Psycho Hose Beast or Crazy Girl. Izzy and Heather do not have any major confrontations with each other, but tend to argue with one another. After Izzy's return, she apparently joins Heather's alliance, but has little involvement in helping her. A few episodes later, Heather votes off Izzy for shooting her with a tranquilizer dart. In the following episode, Heather continues to mock Izzy in front of Owen, leading to Owen to blow up on her. In an exclusive clip prior to the special, Heather vomits in disgust after listening to Izzy's scary story. Izzy then proudly exclaims, "I told you I could make her barf." They have little interaction in the next 2 seasons, but Izzy chooses to support Heather over Alejandro in Hawaiian Punch and cheers for her when she wins in her ending. Me, she is really sick. But wait to land the humiliation, Izzy. Izzy, evil laughter, thanks JD. Little Izzy, yeah big sis. Me, here's what Joe says. In Up, Up, and Away in My Pitiful Balloon, Joe respects Heather's strategies in the past and admits she is a tough contestant, but dislikes her shorts, considering them too girly. Heather also angers Joe for stealing the $1 million. Later, Heather throws several of Chris's jummies at Joe. During said engagement, Joe encourages the mutant flying goats to burn down Heather's Zeppelin. When they are placed on the same team in Total Drama All-Stars, their dominating personalities clash as they argue who should be in charge of their team. In the first episode, Heather pushes the newbie out of the way, only for Joe to push and insult her back. In Evil Dread, they both argue on how they should dig up the 3D puzzles. They both continue to argue who should be a leader, to the point where they physically hurt each other. At the elimination ceremony, Joe glares at Heather when Chris announces it's time to vote someone off. The conflict between the two finally reaches a boiling point in Saving Private Leech Ball. Heather and Joe spend most of the time trying to get Gwen's loyalty in order to get her into an alliance. Joe angers Heather when she votes off Lightning, as she believes that he is a much better teammate. During the challenge, Heather scolds Joe for shooting at Scott with their own cannon. That night, both of them place in the bottom two and Heather presumably votes for Joe, resulting in the latter being eliminated. Me, Joe may have been a complete jerk, but I agree with her. Lincoln, I agree with you, JD. Lana, same here. Lola, me too. Me, yep, and Lynn, Lana, and Lola mercilessly thrashed her. But it's too graphic for you all to see. Darcy, is it really that bad? Me, well, how should I put this? It's not pretty. Justin, Heather is the most ugliest girl in the world. She is uglier than Eva. Me, you said it, Justin. In Not Quite Famous, Justin charms Heather when he takes off his shirt after extinguishing a burning bush. Heather then allows him to take part in the talent contest, along with her and Trent. After their team loses, Heather knows that she is the prime target for elimination, and as a last-ditch effort, she shifts the target to Justin. She then convinces Lindsay, Beth, in an alliance with her, Izzy, crazy, though Izzy's alleged past relationship with Justin could have been the main reason of Izzy helping her, and Owen, bribed with a piece of cake, to vote off Justin. In the very last episode, really, Heather rips off Justin's shirt and uses his power to distract Gwen in an effort to slow her down. However, this backfires, as it also distracts Owen. In Hawaiian style, Justin initially sides with Cody, but later supports Heather by the orders of Bridget. In Hawaiian Punch, Justin and the others watch and laugh at Heather's misfortune at the beginning of the episode. When she wins in her ending, Justin cheers for her. Justin, Heather is an ugly monster. Me, you tell her, Justin. Everyone cheered. Me, yep. Katie and Sadie? Katie, we hate Heather. Sadie, you said it, girl. At Playa de Losers in Haute Camp Tour, while discussing about Heather, they both consider Heather to be extremely bossy, with Sadie even pondering how Heather is in the final 5 when everyone hates her. Both of them make a big deal out of the Heather kissing Trent ordeal from Search and Do Not Destroy in the aftermath. Trying to discern who is at fault for the deception, and ultimately agree it is Heather's doing. In Celebrity Manhunt's Total Drama Action Reunion special, Heather makes fun of Katie and Sadie with puppets of them, mocking their shrill voices and choice of words. In Hawaiian Punch, Sadie is one of 3 contestants moved by Alejandro and Heather's confession of love to each other. Me, you two have an awesome opinion about her. Lashana, you have the strongest hatred of Heather, right? Lashana, you know it, man. I hated Heather ever since day one. Heather and Lashana arguably have the most detailed rivalry of all the characters in the entire series. Lashana occasionally backs up Gwen whenever Heather insults her and engage in many verbal and physical altercations. In Season 2, the conflict between the two continues, with Lashana mocking Heather's lack of hair while Heather insults Lashana's weight. In Riot on Set, Lashana suggests to Gwen to choose Heather for their team for strategic purposes. After $1 Million Babies, the two might have gotten along on better terms, but the conflict was brought back up in Slap Slap Revolution, due to Alejandro manipulating Lashana, and slaps Heather multiple times, resulting in her elimination. Me, you sure laid down the lot with Heather. Righteous to debt. Lashana, thanks dude. Little Lashana, that was awesome big sis. Lashana, thanks little sis. Me, Lightning. Lightning, Shablam. I hate Heather. She's such a sore loser. In Up, Up, and Away in My Pitiful Balloon, once Lightning crashes into the Zeppelin, he tries to take back the $1 million from Heather, and the two engage into a fight for it. Heather fake cries to gain Lightning's sympathy but then hits him several times with the case when he lets his guard down, prompting him to call her crazy. During their fight, however, he attempts to warn Heather that Cameron is about to ram into the Zeppelin, but abandons her when she doesn't listen to his warning. In Evil Dread, Heather smacks Lightning with a shovel after he refuses to hand her one of the shovels he holds. Like the others, she is furious at Lightning for miscounting the number of pieces their team has that costs the villainous vultures the win. Later that night, Heather most likely votes off Lightning due to this reason. In Saving Private Leech Ball, Heather gets upset at Joe for making the team vote off Lightning, because Heather felt that the team would have been better with Lightning's athletic skills. Me, well said dude. Lynn, yeah Lightning. Way to lay on the sick burn. Everyone cheered. Kid 6, you tell her. Me, yet. Lindsay? Lindsay, Heather is a big meanie. Lindsay and Heather have one of the worst conflicts. Initially, Lindsay, along with Beth, was part of Heather's alliance, formed during the early episodes of Total Drama Island. For most of the season, she would help to establish Heather's dominance over their team and to eliminate anyone Heather declares a threat. Even after Beth left the alliance, Lindsay continues to help Heather under the belief that Heather is her best friend and wants to bring her to the finale with her. However, Lindsay finds out, and that's off the chain, that Heather is only using her for her own selfish needs after she double-crosses her. Angered of her betrayal, Lindsay begins to hate Heather at this point. In later seasons, Lindsay continues to ignore Heather, while the latter continues to insult her for her lack of intelligence. Me, and you sure damaged her pride. Lindsay, I did? Me, in a good way. Lindsay, oh. Me, yet. Everyone gave their opinions. Mike. In Saving Private Leech Ball, Mike shoots Heather with a leech while distracted, eliminating her from the challenge. In the final reckoning, Heather becomes a helper for Mal. In the confessional, he states if she or Alejandro tries to stop him from winning, he would bury them alive. While pondering on how to cross the toxic moat, Mal picks Heather up and attempts to throw her in. However, Alejandro stops him and gives him the alternative of using a strong stick to pull a vault across, to which Mal throws Heather on the ground. Noah. In The Big Sleep, Noah bumps into Heather during the 20-kilometer run around the lake, to which Heather finds annoying. Though later when Owen tries to revive a supposedly unconscious Noah, Heather appears to be worried about him. In Dodge Brawl, he is slightly annoyed because Heather is the one that urges him to participate the most. Also, when Noah is hit by a dodgeball, Heather laughs at his expense. When Gwen tells Noah to shut it after the Screaming Gophers lose, Heather actually agrees with Gwen. In Haute Camp Tour, Noah implies he was happy when Lashana locked Heather in the fridge. In Are We There Yeti, Heather compliments Noah about his intelligence, calling him one seriously smart guy in the confessional. In I See London, Noah indirectly insults Heather by calling Alejandro Heather with social skills. In Planes, Trains, and Hot Air Mobiles, Noah appears to be angry that Heather made it to the final two first instead of Cody. However, in Hawaiian Punch, Noah happily cheers for Heather in Heather's ending after she defeats Alejandro and smiles when she wins the final challenge. Owen. Heather treats Owen poorly throughout the series, and despite Owen's claims, he seems to be frightened of her most of the time. He finally snaps at her in Trial by Tri-Arm Triathlon when Heather continuously insults Izzy, his crush, during their challenge. He demands the Wimpke to remove the handcuffs, which would make them automatically lose, and later enters to the confessional to curse her out. In I Triple Dog Dare You, Owen shares half of his freebies with Gwen and teams up with her against Heather, successfully eliminating her off the show by using all their freebies and making her do the dares instead. Due to her bigger conflict with Gwen, Heather chooses to support Owen in the finale and does whatever she can to ensure Owen's victory. The conflict between them tones down a little in the next few seasons, but Owen still refuses to be acquainted with Heather, still finding her untrustworthy. When Heather is in the finale of Total Drama World Tour, Owen was forced to support her by Bridget, much to his annoyance. However, when it comes between her and Alejandro, Owen genuinely shows his support to her due to his bigger dislike for Alejandro. Sam. In Evil Dread, Heather joins the other villains in laughing at Sam when he gets stung by a jellyfish. I gave Scott's opinion. Like the other newcomers, Scott is not happy to see Heather during her return to the island and up, and away in My Pitiful Balloon. In Total Drama All-Stars, the two are placed on the villainous vultures and have a minor conflict with each other. In Food Fright, Scott disgusts Heather with his attraction towards Courtney. In No One Expects the Spanish Opposition, Heather tries to get Courtney and Scott to vote for Alejandro by lying that Alejandro is targeting Scott. Sammy hates Heather just as much as we do, and as much as she hates her just as much Amy. Sierra. Upon Sierra's debut into the competition, Heather immediately tries to make an alliance with her, which Sierra accepts. However, Sierra's repeated viewings of every Total Drama episode educated her on Heather's game tactics, adding that she is only pretending to be friends with Heather and secretly plans to vote her off. After the merge, the two of them continue to hate each other but put it aside in the end in order to eliminate Alejandro. Trent. A very unfortunate event. Heather kisses Trent in front of Gwen. In the beginning of the series, Trent treats Heather with respect, even when it wasn't mutual. However, he grows to hate her once she manipulates him into kissing her in Search and Do Not Destroy, breaking up his relationship with Gwen and later causing his elimination. In The Sucky Outdoors, Trent rebels against Heather by stating that Gwen was justified to dump Harold's red ant farm onto Heather's bed as revenge for reading her diary in Not Quite Famous, calling it harsh on Heather's part. In Up the Creek, she interrupts a conversation between him and Cody, calling them ladies and asking them if they were finished with their tea party. In Extreme Torture, Heather shows no remorse for Trent after he falls thousands of feet straight into the ground, resulting in full-bodied injuries. She even counts on this happening when she draws a chalk outline of his body on the ground. When pulled on a stretcher by Chef Hatchet, she blames Trent for losing the challenge. Heather sees Gwen and Trent's relationship in Search and Do Not Destroy as the formation of an alliance, and thus a threat to her. To that end, Heather conspires with Lindsay to break up Trent and Gwen. After luring him onto the dock, Heather tricks him by telling him Gwen's feelings aren't genuine and that he is being used. Upon Gwen's arrival, Heather kisses Trent in front of him. This event leads to Trent being the target of elimination by the other campers rallied by Lashana as Heather has immunity. After Trent is eliminated, Heather confesses that everyone fell for her plan. From here on, Trent's conflict with Heather becomes mutual. Trent never forgives Heather for her actions in this episode, evidenced in Haute Camp Tour, when Trent says he never wants to meet anyone like her ever again. In Total Drama Island, he asked Lashana and Gwen if they should help Heather while she was stuck headfirst in a beaver dam and getting attacked by beavers. However, within moments, all three of them burst out laughing at the suggestion. In the premiere episode of Total Drama Action after Chris begins the challenge, Trent shoves Heather aside while shouting, "Out of my way." In Beach Blanket Bogus, Trent accidentally throws salt and pepper in her face, causing her to scream in pain and sneeze uncontrollably. Later in 3:10 to Crazy Town, Trent asks how they would be able to tell the difference between the cowboys and cattle. When Chris answers his question, saying that cowboys would wear hats and the cattle would wear udders, an annoyed Heather remarks, "You just had to ask." Trent initially sides against her in Hawaiian style and also laughs at her misfortune at the beginning of Hawaiian Punch. After Cody is eliminated, however, Trent switches to Heather's side and cheers for her when she defeats Alejandro in her ending. Tyler. Heather scorns Tyler solely because Lindsay has a crush on him, which distracts her from their alliance, even though he is on the opposing team. Seeing this as a threat, Heather is determined to keep them apart. In Dodge Brawl, Heather throws a dodgeball at his groin when he blows a kiss to Lindsay. Later, when he and Lindsay make out under the dock, Heather throws a kayak at him. On numerous occasions, she makes sure Lindsay does not get too distracted by him. In Hawaiian Punch, Tyler cheers for Heather after she defeats Alejandro in her ending. Zoe. In Up, Up, and Away in My Pitiful Balloon, Zoe is at first excited to see Heather but then gets offended when Heather calls her a loser, insisting she is not a loser unless everyone else thinks she is. In Heroes vs. Villains, Zoe impresses Heather when she saves Mike and Gwen from the sharks. Me. So yeah. We had all kinds of opinions for how we feel about Heather. And I have a special treat for you all. Signal whistle. The door opened and in came Heather in a straitjacket and a Hannibal Lecter mask. Me. You all are gonna smack Heather into pulp. The kids cheered. Me. With piñata sticks. Everyone cheered again. Me. Let's go outside. We did so and we had Heather tied from a tree branch. Me. You all ready to have some fun? Everyone cheered. Me. Who wants to go first? Little Gwen. I do. I hand her a stick and little Gwen went up to Heather. Heather. Why are you Gwen back WHE? Pow. Little Gwen smacked Heather all over her face. Smack. 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 Me. Wow. Nice hits. Hey guys, remember the paintball deer hunter challenge? Gwen. How can I forget that? That was so awesome how Heather was covered in paint. Beth. I covered Heather in paint. Lindsay. She deserved it. Me. Well, here is another awesome part. Paintball blasters. I had a lot of paintball blasters. Beth. Oh yes. Owen. Hoo. Yeah. Little Owen. This is gonna be awesome. Me. And check this out. I sprouted jellyfish tentacles, octopus tentacles, and my punk shock tail and crouched down on all fours. Me. This is a move I call the rapid fire paint storm of death. Let's give Heather a paintball pounding she'll never forget. Lashana. This is gonna be sweet dude. Me. Oh yeah. Let her have it. We fired a lot of paintballs at Heather and she was getting pelted and pulverized with paint at an incredible rate and the paint represented all our favorite colors. Chris and Chef were watching the whole thing up in Canada and they were laughing their heads off at the humiliation we were dishing out on Heather. We ran out of paintballs and smacked Heather with piñata sticks. Heather was badly beaten and dripping with paint. Everyone cheered. Trent. That was so much fun. Serves you right, Heather. Me. You tell her, Trent. Noah. That was the most fun we've ever had. Little Noah. It was fun. Me. Did you all have so much fun? Everyone cheered. Mrs. Srinivas. Wonderful presentation, JD. Me. Thanks, Mrs. Srinivas. I'm glad we can give everyone some awesome inspiration. Mrs. Srinivas. Me too. We had a lot of fun. Asterisk. Part 3. Carmen's Fiery Vengeance. Asterisk. Carmen was walking to her classroom. She opened the door and then a bucket of raw sewage fell onto her and covered her. Splat. Feathers covered her. Mandy and her two friends Caitlin and Dominique arrived and they laughed at her. Mandy. We sure got you. Caitlin. What a twerp. Carmen. You three have unleashed my vengeance. Mandy. And what are you gonna do about it? Carmen. Allow me to impress upon you the severe mistake you have made. For years, you three have gotten away with every mean thing to Sam, Clover, and Alex. But now that you've pranked me, you have forced me to unleash upon you the vengeful flames of 1,000 suns. You shall curse your mothers for the day of your birth. So, go now, go, and begin your life of fear, knowing that when you least expect it, the looming sword of Damocles will crash down upon you, cleaving you in two, and as you gaze upon the smoking wreckage that was once your life, you will regret the day you crossed the wrong girl. Caitlin. To Dominique, she didn't think it was funny. Carmen walked away. Back home, Carmen came in and we were shocked. Maria, Carmen, what happened to you? Carmen, Mandy and her cronies thought it was funny to prank me. Cornelia, are you going to get her back? Carmen, I'll think of something. Rachel, Animorphs, I have a feeling that you might not have to do anything. And Rachel was right. Mandy, Caitlin, and Dominique got home. Mandy sees a package of chocolate on her table. My shipment of chocolate arrived. Caitlin, scared, are you crazy? What if Rachel got to it first? Dominique, you heard her. She wants to cleave us in two. Mandy, oh, come on. It looks like chocolate. Caitlin, you know what else looks like chocolate? Poison when dipped in chocolate. Dominique, to Mandy, let's just hide in here for a while. I mean, it's not like she knows where you live. 7 hours later, Mandy and her friends were getting frantic. Mandy looks out the window, no sign of Rachel yet. Caitlin, I'm just glad that it wasn't her older sister that we ticked off. Dominique, I just realized something. You know those 3 losers, Sam, Clover, and Alex? Caitlin, of course. Why? Dominique, I think they have a crush on Lincoln Loud. Mandy, get real, you two. Lincoln Loud's way younger than them. The odds of those losers being his girlfriends are like 0%. But she is dead wrong. Mandy was taking a shower while Caitlin and Dominic were in the living room. Dominique, okay, it's my turn to stand watch. You can take your nap. Caitlin, suspiciously pretty eager for me to go to sleep. So tell me, how's she been? Dominique, how's who been? Caitlin, angrily, don't play dumb with me. You're working with Rachel. Dominique, me? How do I know you're not working with her? Caitlin, I'll tell you how. Punches Dominique and the two start fighting. Mandy comes down to the living room in fresh new clothes. I can't leave you two alone for 5 minutes. Caitlin, it's Dominique's fault. Dominique, oh yeah? Mandy, alright, break it up. Can't you see this is what Rachel wants? For us to beat each other up? Caitlin, you're right. Look at us. We've gone crazy. Dominique, we can't live like this anymore. We have to confront Rachel. And they will. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. The next day at school, Mandy, Caitlin, and Dominique went to confront Carmen. Mandy, okay, you win. Just do it already. Carmen, do what? Caitlin, get your revenge. Dominique, the sewage and feathers? The practical joke? Carmen, ah yes, I had forgotten. Mandy, good, good, us too. Carmen, but now that you reminded me, the humiliation I suffered that day will not go unpunished. My pain is the bubbling cauldron of molten steel that will forge the saber of your demise. I shall not be denied my vengeance. Ha 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 ha. Laughs insanely. Mandy sprays Carmen with hose. Hey, wonder why we didn't think of this 24 hours ago. But then a powerful torrent of water slammed into Mandy and her friends and they crashed into a bunch of garbage cans. Maria just soaked Mandy and her cronies. Mandy, I guess this is the part where you permanently take us down, right? Rachel, Animorphs Nat. You three have been through enough punishment for today. But next time, we won't leave you off with a warning. Maria, you three better watch yourselves. Next time there will be no mercy. Carmen, yet. Maria, and if you prank my little sister again, it will be the last thing you ever do. They walked away. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Part 4, The Wrath of Cyborg Lincoln. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. It was wonderful sunny day in Gotham Royal York. Asterisk the camera pans over to the Gotham Royal York Park, where 15-month-old baby Lily Loud Santiago was happily playing with her baby toys while her older brother Cyborg Lincoln was just laying down on a tree branch several yards away. The rest of the sisters and us on Team Loud Phoenix Storm were further away, busy doing our own things to notice their cyborg brother and baby sister asterisk. Lily LS, giggling. Hey Lynn, to the bullies approaching them, can we help you? Thug, out of the way girl. That's when a shadow loomed over the baby Loud Santiago. Lily LS, notices the shadow moving over her POL. Curiously turns to look at what's causing it. That's when she saw a large thug menacingly tower over her little self. Lily LS, terrified, tears in her eyes POL. Winky. Winky. Thug, angry, out of my way, you little twerp. Asterisk, the thug brings down his hand and brutally slaps Lily. The thug slapped Lily so hard, a painful slap bruise appeared on her cheek. Lily whimpered before crying loudly asterisk. Thug, annoyed, shut up, you little brat. Lily's crying and the thug's angry yells were enough to wake up Cyborg Lincoln. Me? Uh-oh. Cyborg Lincoln, startled, hey. Lily notices the thug towering over his now crying baby sister, malicious intentions on his face as Lily leaps off the branch and speeds over to her. Thug raises hand to slap Lily again. I said shut up. Brings hand down to slap Lily again. Cyborg Lincoln, furious, oh, no, you don't. Catches Thug's hand and breaks it. Thug screams in pain. What in the... I kicked the thug in the face. Pow. Hey Lynn, fires gust of wind, leave baby Lily alone. The thug crashed into a drinking fountain. Lincoln grabs Thug by the throat. You think I'm gonna let you get away with hurting my baby sister? You got another thing coming. Knees Thug in gut, breaking ribs, stomps on his legs, breaking them. Thug, asterisk, screams in massive pain asterisk gah. Glares at Lincoln with extreme rage. You miserable Raj. Me, who the hell do you think you are? Cyborg Lincoln kicks Thug across the face, breaking jaw. I suggest you stay down, it'll save you from death. The thug growls fiercely as he tries to stand up. Thug, furious, I won't go down to the likes of you. Cyborg Lincoln, hey, come on. There's no shame in getting your butt hooped by an 11-year-old cyborg. Me, and no shame in thrashing you for hurting Lily. Thug, infuriated, I don't have to listen to you. And beside, points at Lily threateningly, that stupid little brat of yours got in my way. Nastily, she'll never grow up to do anything big. She'll always be a dumb, bratty, idiotic screw-up who'll never accomplish anything in her ridiculous, stupid, pointless life. Laughs in a nasty tone. Pow. I punched the thug in the face and broke his nose. Cyborg Lincoln, enraged as if you are any better, punches Thug across the face, throws him to ground, elbows his spine. I punched him in the stomach and kneed him in the face and flipped him over. I threw him into a bunch of garbage cans. Me, you are a worthless monster. You think you are better than us? Thug slowly sits up, smirks evilly. Of course I am. Asterisk quickly pulls out a gun and shoots a bullet at Lily. Lily sees the bullet soaring towards her and cries out in fear asterisk. Cyborg Lincoln runs to Lily and catches bullet, infuriated. Now you've really done it. Grabs gun and crushes it. You are going to suffer a long and painful death. Me, you are seriously one. Censored, up, censored. Now you will die. The sisters and everyone else, noticing the commotion that's going on, come over to try to find out just what happened. Lori, shocked at what she sees. Lincoln, what's going on here? What are you doing? Cyborg Lincoln, infuriated, teaching this piece of scum what happens when he hurts and tries to shoot Lily. Sisters, in shock. What? Me, you heard right guys. This thug had the audacity to try and kill the cult Lincoln's sister. Luna sees Lily, picks her up. Lily, are you okay? Lily LS, crying ga, 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 goo. Cries louder. Lisa, shocked he slapped you across the face, then tried to fire a bullet at you. Lily LS, whimpers as she nods. Sisters, sends Lily, become enraged. Nico, you monster. You have failed this world. Lynn, tightens grip on baseball bat. Now I'm really glad I brought my bat. Lucy, venomously, you will suffer for eternity for what you have done. Lainey, beyond furious, you will be ripped apart. Lana, furious, no one hurts our baby sister. Lola, furious, not even us. Lisa, normally, I wouldn't care for inane human emotions, but becomes infuriated, no one hurts my younger sister unit. Lori, furious, you are literally going to regret this. Lenny, angry, how could you do this to a baby? Luna, Lily, stay here and look away. Sets Lily down, grips guitar tightly. Now you'll all see why I call this an axe. Luan, outraged, we're going to seriously mess you up. Cyborg Lincoln, infuriated, girls, for what he did to Lily, how about we give this guy a VIP seat? Cracks knuckles in the hospital. Sisters, sends Lily, yet. Me, you'd better start praying. Cracks knuckles. The thug realizes how screwed he is. Thug, eyes widen in horror, oh, crud. Cyborg Lincoln, breaks Thug's arm. Lori, gives Thug a black eye. Lenny, kicks out Thug's teeth. Luna, bashed guitar on Thug's head. Luan, crushes Thug's crotch. Lynn, bashes bat over Thug's head. Lucy, rips a chunk of the Thug's arm out. Lainey, stabs Thug's stomach with a knife. Lana, bites Thug's leg. Lola, claws Thug's face. Lisa, twists Thug's ankle. Older Lily, slashes Thug's eyes. Asterisk, the Thug screamed in horrible pain from the torture he was receiving. We mercilessly thrashed and tortured him. After a few hours, the loud siblings have finally ceased. The Thug was now a crumpled, battered, bloodied, broken, bruised up lump as he groaned in pain. Asterisk. Thug, weakly mommy. He yelped in fear when he saw 12 furious loud siblings glaring at him with pure hatred. Cyborg Lincoln grabs Thug and lifts him by the hair. I'm gonna make this short and sweet. If you ever, and I mean ever, come near my baby sister again, you will be buried in our backyard. Got it? Me, menacing talk. You mess with one of us again and we're going to kill you. The Thug nods fearfully while letting out a pathetic whimper. Cyborg Lincoln, good. Drops Thug onto the street, then stay out of our sight. Asterisk, the Thug lets out a terrified scream as he bolts away from the loud siblings while crying like a big baby. He didn't stop until he was out of sight. Asterisk. Lori, scoffs, what a baby. Luan, seems he couldn't handle the Thug life. Everyone sends Lincoln and Lily, laugh. Cyborg Lincoln, picks up Lily. Lily, you okay? Sisters, sends Lily, stop laughing. Lily LS, crying Winky. Hugs Lincoln as she cries into his shoulder. Cyborg Lincoln, hugs Lily gently. SHHH. It's okay, Lily. That horrible man is gone now. He can't hurt you anymore. Moves his own body in a rocking motion to try to help further comfort his baby sister. Asterisk. Sisters, join the hug. Lori, sad, poor thing. She must literally be traumatized. Me, no kidding. Lenny, sad, she's like, never gonna forget this. Older Lily, I wouldn't forget it either. Lana, tilts her head, should we tell mom and dad about this? Luna, nods, they have to know about this, dude. Cyborg Lincoln, Luna's right, Lana. They deserve to know what happened. They're our parents, after all. Me, yeah. Lynn, and they deserve to know if one of their kids is hurt or almost shot. Nico, I agree. Lucy, like what just happened to Lily. Luan, plus, they'll see her bruise and become concerned regardless of if we tell them or not. Lisa, nods indeed. Rachel SD, what that Thug did was absolutely pure evil. Me, you got that right, Ratch. Cyborg Lincoln, okay, guys. Let's go. We all head back home to the estate, with Cyborg Lincoln carrying a sobbing Lily L.S. They soon arrive at the loud house and head inside, where Lily L.S. begins to calm down. Rita and Lynn Sr., who were sitting on the couch reading novels, notice their kids. Rita sets down her book. Oh, hey, kids. How was the park? Cyborg Lincoln, Mom, Dad, it was fine until this happened. Shows Lily's bruise. Rita, Lynn Sr., gasp in shock. Rita, shocked, oh my gosh. Lily. Lynn Sr., shocked, what happened to Lily, son? Who did that to her? Cyborg Lincoln, some thug thought it would be fun to slap her across the face. Me, yet. Nico, he hit her good. Rachel SD, he was a total animal. Rita, gasps, poor thing. Lori, so, we gave him a beatdown he'll literally never forget. Me, yet. We gave him a merciless beatdown. I have his blood on my knuckles to prove it. I showed my bruised knuckles covered in dry blood. Lynn Sr. sees the blood in Lana's mouth. Lana, is that blood? Lana, yet, Dad. I bit him in the leg. Me, it was a good bite. Rita sees broken bat and guitar. I assume you beat him with those, too? Luna, Lynn, not. Lainey, I stabbed him in the stomach with a knife. Older Lily, and I slashed his eyes out. Cyborg Lincoln, and that's not the worst part, he almost killed Lily by shooting a bullet at her. Me, yet. Rita, Lynn Sr., gasps in shock. What? Cyborg Lincoln sighs, I wish I was kidding, but I kid you not. It's true. Nico, here's the pieces of his destroyed gun to prove it. Nico put the gun pieces on the table. Lily sniffles as Lincoln rubs her back. Rita, horrified, oh my gosh. Lynn Sr., shocked, did you call the cops? Cyborg Lincoln, well. Lenny, looking at the TV, guys? You may want to see this. We all gathered around the TV. Reporter, police are saying a man just turned himself in for trying to shoot a minor that was no older than 2 years old. He arrived at the police station with a black eye, broken wrist, cracked ribs, a bloody leg, a twisted ankle, a stabbed wound, cut out eyes and more injuries. He told police that the minor's 11 older siblings and a couple of friends did this to him, their ages ranging from 4 to 25, and a bunch of others did this to him as well. I would almost feel bad for him, if he hadn't tried to shoot the minor. Now back to you in the studio. Lola, wow, he even turned himself in. Me, he sure did. Luan, guess we scared him that much. Luna, well, we did beat him up pretty badly. Cyborg Lincoln, honestly, he got what he deserved. Sisters, all nods agreed. Me, yep. We gave him a big case of TLPS shock syndrome. We all laughed. Luan, laughs, good one JD. Me, thanks. Nico, that was funny. Rita, kids, me and Lynn have some things to say. The kids look at their parents. Lenny, are we in trouble? Lynn Sr. smiles, no, of course not. We're really proud of you for defending your baby sister. Rita smiles, however, if this were to happen again, which I hope it doesn't, try not to let your anger get the better of you. Understand? Siblings, yes, Mom and Dad. Me, that thug was a monster. There was a knock at the door. Lori, I'll get it. Opens the door to find Bobby and Ronnie Ann. Boo Boo Bear? Ronnie Ann? Bobby, Ronnie Ann, hey, babe / hey, Lori. Cyborg Lincoln, what are you guys doing here? Bobby, we saw what happened on the news. Is Lily okay? Cyborg Lincoln, physically, it's just a bruise. Though, I'm sure she's gonna be traumatized for the rest of her life. Lily LS sniffles as she hugs Lincoln tighter. Cyborg Lincoln sits on the couch, hugs Lily back. Yet, she's pretty traumatized. Me, yet. Ronnie Ann, feels bad, geez, poor thing. Bobby, I can't believe that guy would do something like this to a baby. Me, I can't either. Lori, at least he turned himself in. Lynn, yet, after we pounded him. Lainey, yet. Cyborg Lincoln, rocking Lily, hey, Lily. How about I get you some ice cream? Will that help you? Smiles, I'll even let you pick out the flavor you want. Lily LS, looks at Lincoln, sniffles and nods POL. Cyborg Lincoln, smiles, alright. Come in, you. Carries Lily into the kitchen. News reporter, now returning to the story of the thug trying to shoot a minor, we now have video footage of the thug slapping the baby. Displays video, you can see here the minor's older brother is beating the thug already, before the thug takes out a gun and shoots at the minor. Gunshot, however, in that split second, the brother seemingly ran and caught the bullet just before it hit her. Then, the other 10, yes, 10, sisters joined in beating up the thug, before the boy grabbed him and he ran off. This video was taken by a Miss Sam Sharp Loud. Reporters caught up to her and questioned her, though she asked to keep her face hidden. Sam SL, off screen, I just can't believe someone would do something like this to a baby. Do I feel bad for the baby? Yes, the poor thing is probably traumatized for life now. The thug? Scoffs as if he got what he deserved. I would have tried to stop him myself, but who better than the baby's older siblings? Me. Sam recorded this? Cool. The name Sam Sharp Loud made Luna gasp in shock. Luna, surprised Sam recorded all of that. Lainey, she sure did. Cyborg Lincoln, comes back with Lily eating a strawberry cup, suddenly gets surprised, wait, did he say Miss Sam Sharp Loud? Lainey, he sure did. Asterisk. Later we found out that Ronnie Ann and the Cyborg Lincoln are in love. Lori, maybe we can plan a triple date movie night next weekend. Me with Bobby, you with Sam, and Lincoln with Ronnie Ann? Luna, yeah, that'd be great, dude. Cyborg Lincoln, whispers to Ronnie Ann, of course they would throw us into the mix. Ronnie Ann, whispers to Cyborg Lincoln, I'm not surprised. Bobby, grins, I'm liking it, babe. Ronnie Ann, oh well, I guess it wouldn't hurt. Lincoln, yeah, guess not. Lori, grins, knew you two would agree. Cyborg Lincoln, in his head, I don't know how I put up with her. Ronnie Ann, in her head, I don't know how I put up with him. Bobby, well, me and Ronnie Ann better get going now. Lori, hugs Bobby, bye, boo boo bear. Lincoln, see ya, Ronnie. Ronnie Ann, later, lame-o. Bobby, returns the hug to Lori, kisses her cheek, bye, babe. Me, see ya, compadre. Bobby and Ronnie Ann leave the Loud house. The next day, Royal Woods High School. Lori, Lenny, Luna, Luan, walk into school. Boy 1, hey, there they are. Crowd, begins murmuring. Lori, what's going on? Luan, I think they saw the news. Girl, it's some of the girls that beat up that thug that tried to shoot their baby sister. Luna, yep, they know. Boy 2, I'm glad they sent that thug to where he belongs. Very, you got that right. Boy 3, I heard one of the younger girls bit his leg and made it bleed. Aline C, that's right. That was Lana. Girl 2, and the boy ran fast enough to catch a bullet. Girl 3, yeah, it was brutal, but amazing. Girl 1, I had no idea Lenny could be that brutal when defending her siblings. Lenny blushes. Bobby approaches the sisters, the whole school's talking about the news. Ronnie even said the elementary school is going on about you guys. Elementary school. We were walking through the hallways. Clyde notices them from a crowd. Clyde, Lincoln, there you are. Cyborg Lincoln walks up to Clyde. along with his younger sisters. Hey, Clyde. Boy 1, hey, it's the Thug Beaters. Crowd, cheers. Cyborg Lincoln, yeah, they know about it. Lana, wow, the news about us spread like wildfire. Lola, yeah, no kidding. Me, it sure did. Boy 2, they sure gave that thug the one too. Girl 1, Lana, did you really bite the guy's leg? Lana, smiles, revealing dried blood on her teeth. Yap. It's gonna take a while to get it out of my teeth, though. Girl 2, I like how Lola clawed his face. Lola, takes off glove, it was worth chipping a nail. Boy 3, wait, what did Lucy do? Lucy, whispers to Boy 3, that's best kept secret. Boy 3, okay, then. Christina, Lincoln. Cyborg Lincoln, turns and sees her. Christina, that was amazing how you saved your little sister, and caught a bullet for her. It's made me realize how heroic you really are. And, I'm sorry for ignoring you rudely. We can be friends, right? Cyborg Lincoln, smiles, sure thing, Christina. Of course we can be friends, and I forgive you too. Christina, smiles, thanks. Ronnie Ann, walks up from behind Christina. Hey, Christina. Christina, turns and sees Ronnie Ann. Surprised Ronnie Ann? Ronnie Ann, I saw you apologizing to Lincoln. Smiles, so I forgive you too. Christina, smiles, thanks, Ronnie Ann. Christina and Ronnie Ann share a friendly fist bump, then Ronnie Ann takes Lincoln's hand. Cyborg Lincoln, so, we'll see you at lunch then? Christina, smiles, sounds good. Cyborg Lincoln, smiles, all right. See you then. Walks off with Ronnie Ann, Lucy, Lana, Lola, and Clyde. After the events of the fight with Pariah Dark, Ronnie Ann unfortunately broke up with our drifter friend Cody. It was sad to hear that. But they accepted it and are now friends. In kindergarten, Lisa enters her classroom. Lisa, another day of learning in this establishment for children of my age. When Lisa goes over to sit down, she sees the kids, Darcy, and Miss Srinivas looking at her with smiles. Lisa, I assume you all know about what happened yesterday? Miss Srinivas, smiling, India accent, we sure do, Lisa. You're an absolute hero for saving your baby sister from that horrible man. Lisa, well, if it wasn't for my brother's discovering of the situation, it's likely something worse could have happened. I was doing what an older sibling does for their younger sibling. Darcy gives Lisa a hug. Darcy, happy, I'm so glad you're my best friend, Lisa. Little Gwen, same here. Lisa, smiles, thank you, Darcy and Gwen. Miss Srinivas, smiling, everyone, let's give Lisa a round of applause for being a hero. Classmates, applaud Lisa. Lisa, smiles proudly. Later, after school, at the Team Loud Phoenix Storm estate. Rita was on the phone with Albert, her dad. Rita, I know, Dad. Ever since yesterday, the kids have been praised as heroes for saving Lily. Albert, on the phone, yet, they really laid the smack down on that whippersnapper. The Loud kids walk into the house with smiles on their faces. Lynn Sr. sees the siblings walk in from the couch, smiles, hey, kids. Have fun being praised as heroes? Kids, smiling, yet, Dad. Rita, well, how about you explain it to your grandfather? Puts phone on speaker. Dad, you're on speaker, and the kids just walked in. Albert, on the phone, I think you mean the heroes just walked in? Kids, hi, pop pop. Me, hey Mr. Albert. Albert, on the phone, smiling, well, if it isn't my favorite heroes. Kids, Albert, on the phone, smiles, I'm really proud of you all for pounding that punk. Angry, seriously, who tries to shoot a baby? Me, a monster, that's what. Cyborg Lincoln, angry, I know, right. Lori, angry, it's literally so wrong. Lucy, angry honestly, that's too morbid, even for me. Albert, that's how you know it's messed up. Kids, Rita, Lynn Sr., Albert, laugh. Lewin, laughing good one, pop pop. Me, that was funny. Lily LS, laughing POO. Albert, on the phone, chuckling exactly, Lily. Also, Luna, yet, pop pop. Albert, is what your mother told me about you being gay true? Luna, nods yet, it's true. Albert, okay, just making sure. I'm really happy you're expressing yourself. Luna, so, you're happy with it? Albert, you're my granddaughter. Of course I'm happy for you. Luna, smiles thanks, pop pop. Albert, on the phone well, I gotta get going. I'll talk to you heroes soon. Kids, bye, pop pop. Albert, on the phone later, kiddos. Hangs up. Cyborg Lincoln, now that felt great. Lori, smiles sure did, Lincoln. Me, we sure got a lot of praise, hey? Cyborg Lincoln, yep. Lainey, I hope this doesn't go to our heads. Luna, by the way, bro, how's your hand? Cyborg Lincoln, it's fine. Bullets don't hurt me anymore, remember? Luna, yeah, I know. Just making sure you're okay, dude. Cyborg Lincoln, smiles yet, I know. Hey Lynn, to the viewers, the moral to this is, you hurt a baby and there will be a horrific smackdown dealt to you. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. The ideas for this one came out of the blue. Also the Cyborg Lincoln story is based on Envoit's story Rebal, What Did You Do to My Baby Sister? Credit goes to you for making an awesome story and thank you for letting me use your story in my fanfic. Nico-chan gave me the ideas for part 3 of the story as well as the beginning of part 4. Thanks man as usual. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.